Mr. President, thank you so much for taking my question. President Biden has said that he would respond if cyber attacks from Russia do not stop. I'm curious, what did he tell you? Did he make any threats? And a quick follow-up, if I may, sir. The list of your political opponents who are dead, imprisoned, or jailed is long. Alexei Navalny's organization calls for free and fair elections, an end to corruption. But Russia has outlawed that organization, calling it extremist. And you have now prevented anyone who supports him to run for office. So my question is, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Right, well, once again, I would like to repeat what I said about so-called foreign agents and the people who say that they are part of the unauthorized opposition. I've already spoken to your colleagues. Now I have to repeat that to you. Okay, once again, the US has passed a law which said that the US would particularly favor individual organizations in Russia, and at the same time they declared the Russian Federation as an enemy. They publicly declared that they will try to contain Russia. My question is, which organizations, which political organizations in the US are going to be supported by the US, especially if they pay them?
You didn't answer my question, sir. If all of your political opponents are dead, in prison, poisoned, doesn't that send a message that you do not want a fair political fight?
Well, on the question of who is murdering whom, people rioted and went into the Congress in the US with political demands. And many people were declared as criminals, and they are threatened with imprisonment from 20 to 25 years. And these people were immediately arrested after those events. On what grounds, we don't know always. The states didn't actually inform us about that. One of the participants were just shot on the spot, and unarmed as well. Many countries are going through exactly what we're going through. Let me just repeat. We sympathize with what was happening in the States, but we do not wish that to happen in Russia.
This is ABC's congressional correspondent Rachel Scott holding Russian President Vladimir Putin's feet to the fire in a way that certainly doesn't happen in Russia and barely even happens outside of Russia, which might explain why his answer was a rambling diatribe of deflections and whataboutisms. But his absurdity is put on full display when he equates the jailing of his own political opponents with the DOJ investigating and jailing those who participated in an insurrection at the US Capitol. And so that we're clear, there is no equivalency between the two. In Russia, opposition leader Alexei Navalny was poisoned and then imprisoned not because he was breaking the law, but because Putin is an autocrat who saw his own power threatened by someone popular. And because his sole priority is himself, he threw Navalny in prison, even this week refusing to guarantee that the opposition leader won't die in prison. Conversely, prosecuting those guilty of rioting at the Capitol is the bare minimum in terms of upholding the law in the United States. The 14th Amendment to the US Constitution even forbids those who've participated in insurrection or rebellion against the United States from holding federal office. Police officers were bludgeoned and one died shortly thereafter. Trump supporters were looking to murder members of Congress. There was a guillotine for the Vice President, Mike Pence. Quite literally nothing about the events of January 6th were legal or acceptable, and they certainly don't equate to the presence of a non-autocratic opposition leader like Alexei Navalny. The irony in all of this, of course, is that both the jailing of Putin's political opponent and the January 6th insurrection at the US Capitol were both the result of autocratic leaders. Just as Putin didn't want to deal with a challenge to his own own power, Trump didn't want to accept the fact that he lost the election, opting instead to foment a violent insurrection at the Capitol to pressure Republican lawmakers into not certifying the election results. And for as dangerous as Putin seems to Americans who can't imagine living under a government like his, that would be the natural conclusion of what Trump attempted to do here, and continues to attempt to do by insisting on promoting the big lie still to this very day for anyone who's listening to him. And by the way, the similarities between himself and Trump wasn't lost on Putin, which was clear in his remarks about his interaction with Biden.
Tell us, what did you see when you looked at him in the eyes? And do you think he's a man you can work with? And tell me, did President Biden invite you to the White House? And if so, did you agree to go there? He did not invite me to the White House, and no invitation of that kind was given. I think we really have to have the right conditions before we can get to that stage. As far as looking in eyes and finding souls are concerned, well, I actually don't remember that, but this is not the first time I've heard that statement. But if you ask me what kind of partner or interlocutor President Biden is, I would say that he is very balanced, professional man. It's obviously clear that he's very experienced.
The translation being, oh, turns out I can't bend this guy to my will. And by the way, that's not even me being harsh. Here's Trump lying down for Putin when those two met in Helsinki in 2018.
With the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
All I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be. I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
Yeah, that's not so much an American president as a Russian asset. And so moving forward, it looks like Putin won't have such a captive audience in terms of people buying his disinformation, both with reporters like Rachel Scott and this president in Joe Biden. If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to click the link to subscribe to my channel right here on this screen. Also, if you're looking for a deeper dive, click the link here on this screen to listen to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. It's a no BS look at the top stories of the week, along with interviews with the top names in politics, like Vice President Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Katie Porter, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, and more. And finally, to donate to my Don't Be a Mitch fund, where I'm raising money for a whole spate of different voter outreach and voter registration groups in the closest states ahead of midterms in 2022, you can find that link on this screen as well. Thanks again for watching.